life is lifing, we're providing you with the tools that you need to make the best decisions for your future, protecting families and providing coverage that you need. Reach out to me today and let's get you qualified. 832-590-0691. Well, hello and good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to the Sisters Talk podcast. I'm your host, Danny M. I do have a little bit of a system lag, but today we're going to be talking about why relationships fail. Now, I'm super excited to have the host of Sarcasm Orgasms, Mr. Will DeFresh. So I'm going to bring him on here in just a minute. Now, for those who had tuned in earlier, there was a couple of commercials that went by. One was over life insurance. So guys, if you need coverage, make sure you reach out to me ASAP. Also, I do solar as well. So I'm super excited about that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on the host, Will DeFresh. I'll give it up for him, y'all. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to talk about this. I can't wait.
Oh, I know you are. See, people missed the last segment that we did, and we'll have that posted up in due time. But definitely, we're going to give it straight. We're going to give our honest opinions about this topic, and I'll just let you have the floor, Will. Do your thing.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you, Miss Danny, for welcoming me on Sister Talk. And yes, everybody, it is your host, Mr. Will DeFresh, from the podcast Sarcasm and Orgasms. Yes, you heard it. Let me say that one more time. Sarcasm and Orgasms, where we give you everything sarcastic, but we give you a little bit of that orgasm in your brain. So yes, people, you're coming in your brains and not your loins. So you can find me on all podcasts everywhere. You can even follow me on YouTube at Sarcasm and Orgasm. So let's get to it, Miss Danny.
Yeah, let's get to it. I mean, you left off with a really valid question. I just want to remember what it was so I can answer it.
Okay, so when it comes to relationships, are they sustainable and maintainable?
That's a really broad question, right? I mean, you can sustain and maintain anything if you give it care, love, and attention. Also, I think a lot of us need to consider putting in whatever the person in a relationship pours into the relationship. Like they pour into you, they uplift you when you need help. When you need someone to talk to. I mean, sometimes it's basic stuff, right? Sometimes in our relationships, we just need someone to actually hear what we're saying. It doesn't always have to be a complaint. It could be that I'm having a terrible time at work. My coworkers aren't responding to me in a way that I need. They're not respecting me. And sometimes we blow off those conversations with our partner because we don't feel like talking about it because we may have had a bad day at work too, right? So I kind of feel like we should consider the give or take of relationships. And I think if we do that, that can definitely nourish the situation. Otherwise, it becomes draining over time, right?
Yeah, it does. And see, but the problem is, like, you want someone that you could be able to vent to and talk to. But then again, it's like you just want someone to sit there and listen, and you almost ask them rhetorical questions, and they don't know if they should answer or not. And then you be like, "Well, why aren't you responding back to me? Don't you care about how I feel?" And it's almost like it's a catch-22. So me as a man, I'm sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? Like, I see you crying, I see you bawling out. But if I answer you, you'd be like, that's not what I wanted to hear. You're only telling me something I don't want to hear. So it's almost like, what is a man to do when it comes to something like that, when it comes to comforting a woman who is like in her her fetal position of turmoil.
Well, that's a good question, right? Because every
Yeah.
person is different. Like you have some women who are very fluent in their communication, and then you have some women who have been taught to keep their feelings to themselves in order to further protect them, right? A lot of
Hmm.
times we do things out of innate protection. We don't want our feelings to be hurt. We don't want to be disappointed or let down. So a lot of us don't even communicate our issues with our partner because of those reasons. So, what are you to do? I mean, if you feel like the relationship is worth fighting for, you should try to find that point where that vulnerable point for her, where she can actually let down her wall of security with you and tell you what's going on with her and why is it so hard for you to communicate with her. Why isn't she telling you precisely how she feels? That's what I think.
Well, I look at it this way: if I can help you take down your weave comfortably, you can take down your walls. I mean, it should be a win-win for both of us.
It should be a win-win. It's not always a win-win though, because it's not always that easy, right? Like there's so many people that go into relationships with tons of baggage. We're not just talking
Hmm.
about kids, we're talking about emotional baggage. You know, there's a lot of emotional scarring in a lot of these relationships, and you don't know that about your partner until you live with them for a few months, maybe a few years, and then it's like the wound starts to open up and fester if you say one word or you do something that triggers it. So I think a lot of times we try to suppress what we've been feeling for years, for decades, and as soon as somebody says something that triggers you, you explode.
Yeah, but then also suppression wounds shouldn't be. It's almost like it shouldn't be a casualty. Like, yeah, you have your baggage, I have mine. But if we almost sit down and talk about it, that should be a place where you could be able to open up and say, well, I'm like this for this, that, and the third reason. And then to give somebody a little bit of understanding why you are the way you are, why you're wrapped. But that's not happening. Nobody is willing to sit down and have those tough conversations. They just want to be like, oh, you're cute. Oh, yes, I'm cute. We look good together. Blah, 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 blah. But nobody's really willing to sit down and say, well, I got scars because I don't like the way niggas do me when they start getting with me, and then all of a sudden they forget that I'm here. Or I got scars because I didn't deal with women who want to play both sides but never tell me what the real is. So it's like everybody on both sides needs to say what they are, who they are, rather than leading someone on with this representative type of attitude.
Right. And that's easier said than done. Because 9 times out of 10, nobody's gonna do what you just said. Will, let's just be real. Anytime you're dating somebody, you're dating a representative. You always want that other person to see the best side of you. Like, you know, you're gonna have your makeup freshly done if you're a female. Even sometimes when you don't wear makeup, you want to look your best for your man or your soon to be guy. You know, you're gonna wear heels. Maybe by the time maybe 6 months, a year in, you're wearing flats, your hair's all over your head. He knows exactly the length of your hair, how nappy your hair gets, all of that, because now you got them in the bag. And so I think that's the part of the relationship that's the difference between it working and failing, because once they finally see the real you and they cut through all the bullcrap layers of who you pretended to be, hey April, who you pretended to be for so long, now they get to the root of you. And I think that's the part that we need to talk about, because that's the part that usually breaks or makes the relationship. Some people run away once you start telling them and showing them who you really are, how you really feel, right? Man, we can take this so many different ways, Will. I'm gonna pass the
Hey,
ball.
I'm ready to go. I mean, and I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I'm looking as a man, like I don't care what those things are. All I care about is knowing what is under you. Because if you're gonna unwound these bandages that you have, I have to know what I'm dealing with. Because it's only fair, especially if we're saying we are committed to each other in a long term type of deal. Because we all know we're not getting any younger. We might get more good looking, but we will never get younger, no matter how inevitable we try to like beat out Father Time. Um, but we always are trying to like find that person who, like my mother likes to put, every man is an asshole, every woman is a bitch. You just gotta find the best one for you.
I like your mom.
Yeah. So that's what she always tells me at the end of the day. And it's like, trying to find that one, maybe that not matches you, but is almost like can be wow, I don't even want to say an upgrade, just someone that is on your level basically. And
Yeah.
everybody's levels are different, they're very
Yeah.
different. So it's saying like, okay, I want you to look the way you are, but tell me why you are the way you are. Show me why you're the way you are. But then that never happens because nobody wants to be real with anybody. And that goes for both men and women. I can say I've had my times where I have not shown a representative, but almost held back a little bit because I don't want to give everything too early because I don't know what your intentions might be going forward. So that's why I try to placated to where I'm slow in my approach, but it's and also I'm steady too because just like you're learning, I'm learning, and I don't want to miss something that could be vital later on down the line.
Facts, and that's the part I'm talking about. So not everybody's gonna unwind, da da, this is me. We're transparent, I really hate when you slurp on those fucking noodles. You know what I'm saying? I really hate that. I want to put your face in the table when you do that. I really hate when you tell me what to do. I really hate when you don't clap for me when I reach my milestone. These are the things, these are pet peeves that people have. It's in their mind, but they're not saying this out loud to their partner because why would they? Because that means they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be able to snuggle up in bed with them late at night and get what they need out of the relationship. Like that's just one example. So let's just
Yeah.
be real. Nobody's really coming into these relationships open, like, ta da, I'm crazy. No, I'll tell you something. Fun fact. Me and my husband, when we first met each other, we told each other out the gate. I was like, I'm crazy. He was like, so am I. And I was like, this is gonna work because yeah, I told you we are crazy, and we said that up front because what we were saying to each other is that, hey, I come with flawed issues, right? I'm not perfect. So although you might be attracted to me, you might be excited to get to know me, I come with some level of baggage, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we can have that transparency at the very beginning, this is a true story. It's crazy. He said a lot to me, and he was different from any other guy that I met because any other guy that I've met and dated, they gave me this facade, they gave me this imaginary fairy tale image, and that wasn't who they were, not by a long shot.
That's what guys will do. They will do that to get what they want, and then after they got it, they choose like, well, do I still want to stick around or want to go somewhere else? 9 times out of 10, they're going to go somewhere else and do the exact same thing because
Oh yeah,
that's just how it is. And I've
that
done it before, but I've done it to where it's like it's not really getting me nowhere. And I remember, and I even told my best friends, like, it's like there is nothing wrong with the chase, but in the chase, it's almost like you're sick of doing it because you do the same thing repeatedly. It might be with someone different, but to you, it's the same repeated steps over and over again that you get sick and tired of doing.
facts.
And I'm not gonna sit down with a woman and be like, oh yeah, I'm crazy. You can take it or leave it. I'm just gonna say I'm eclectic. That's a little bit different.
I'm done.
that
Look, we
way, that
crazy.
way, it keeps me off that crazy spectrum, and it's more like, well, if he's eclectic, why is he eclectic? And most people are not smart because they don't know what eclectic means. So that's where I
Facts.
get him.
You give them something to go Google search. I'm
Yep.
done with you.
Not that I'm calling people dumb. I'm not calling people dumb. I'm just saying sometimes the people you run into, their vocabulary is just not as high as you want them to be. So you just try to play with their minds a little bit. So it's just
I'm
me.
done with you, Will. So
It's
let me
just
ask
me.
you something. Let me ask you something. What's your pet peeves when you're dating someone new?
Ooh, first starting out, please be on time. Like
Oh,
please I can't stress this enough, ladies. Like there's nothing more attractive to me, and I'm not gonna say for other men, but to me is like a woman being on time. I understand y'all need to take all day, but the first day, like if I've already seen you, there's nothing more special that you need to put on or you need to doctor up to make it seem like it's so glamorous. Like no, time is one thing we don't
I
get back, so let's
disagree.
not waste it. Hey, you can disagree all you want. You're married, so it don't really matter. You're off the market, so who cares? Like really.
Facts.
But for a person like me, but no, when it comes to pet peeves, it's just it's having conversation. I think conversation is almost a lost art nowadays that is really felt by the wayside when you're, in the midst of a relationship in the beginning stages because yeah, you want to talk all day long, but it's almost like it gets condensed into texting, and texting has really taken the excitement out of just having a conversation with somebody.
Right. You make a very valid point. It's true. And a lot of people are getting catfish these days too because of social media, right? You end up creating these bonds with people that you never met in real life, as opposed to like 20 years ago. You had to get out there. If you wanted to date somebody, you met them on MySpace or whatever platform you were using at the time. MySpace still works, y'all. MySpace still works. I
She,
looked it up.
she said my
I did. Anyways, you could go on MySpace or something, and then or there was other like websites called Tag, but Tag was used to like go out. It was like a straight. It was like Tinder. Tag was like Tinder. So you would go out and you would meet these people. You would hook up, or you would just date whichever one you felt like doing. And thank you, Shaquita. We appreciate that. Shaquita, I'm sorry. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we would meet up, we would hang out, have drinks or whatever, talk about life and get to know each other. You either like them or you don't, or it was just a quick rendezvous on to the next. But now it's like these people are having whole conversations with people, on these websites. And it's like this person doesn't look like the picture that they've been posting on their social media. In fact, they've just copied and pasted this from somewhere else. So she said, I didn't even know MySpace was still around.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's still around. It's still
still
around.
functioning.
Hmm. I wonder who's on my top five.
I just thought I'd bring it up because I have not seen MySpace in so long, and I just happened to look it up the other day, and I was like, "Wow, this is still around."
Yeah, yeah. We know Facebook took that over a long time ago. So,
So, would you say, like, Will, right? Would you say, Will, that guys are still looking for real love, or are they looking for just something quick and easy?
no, they're not looking for real love. They're looking for a real wet spot.
I'm done. Good point. All right, fair enough.
But no,
So, Will,
but
do you
see
look?
it.
Okay.
No, no, no. Okay, and let me broaden this just a little bit more. So they're maybe they're looking for both, but some might be confused, some might not. You don't know because every brother is different from one to the next. He might be looking for real love in a real wet spot, or he might be looking for a real wet spot in a real love environment. It all depends on how you're built. You have to be these men out here, they're not built like they was some 20-25 years ago, because men are not being built to love women properly, because men are not loved themselves properly. So you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. You really can't. And that's very hard. So in order for that to happen, you have to be able to get with a man who is mentally built and soulfully built at the same time, because we all know that broken homes are raising broken people. And so the more and more that as we progress on, the more and more we're seeing that these single parent homes, more so women, are raising these broken men to where they don't know how to love. They just see their mothers struggling over and over again, going from one broke ass nigga to the next. And when she finally does get a man, he's like already grown up and out the house. So seeing what love can be, what it can possibly make for somebody else, it's hard. It's very hard.
Oh,
Now I can say for me, I was raised by a single father. So my dad showed me how to love a woman properly, just in a way that it's not traumatic. It doesn't make it feel like, oh, I'm wrong to love this woman for the way she wants me to. So
right. I love your explanation because that's all valid and all facts. So that is the biggest one of the bigger problems, because the same applies to women too when they aren't loved properly and therefore they don't know how to love themselves, and that's the reason why they'll just fall subject to anything, right? Any guy that comes by that winks their eye at them, they're like, oh my god, and this dude's not worth crap. So Shaquita says, I think some men have relationship trauma, and instead of addressing those issues, they avoid real relationships.
they do. They
Yes.
do. And like I said, I used to avoid real relationships because I had some traumas. And it took me actually, and I'm about to say this, going to therapy. Yes, this black man went to therapy and talked to somebody about past issues that I had that I didn't know I was suppressing. So we suppress things that we don't know until we go into a neutral environment and we're able to talk through it. Once you talk to it and you break those barriers down, you know what you can offer somebody. But you can't do that until you open yourself up. You have to open yourself up and allow yourself to have therapy, because the moment you have therapy is the moment that it's like an epiphany almost. It's like you finally found out, oh my God, this is what I've been feeling. So I can say there is nothing wrong with therapy. There really isn't. But you should also get a therapist that will understand you like a black one. Because I remember my first one, she was white. She didn't know two shits about anything I was talking about. Not nothing. Nothing. I
Because she doesn't know the black experience, right?
no, no.
Yeah.
I'll never forget her name. Her name was Diane. And I'm not gonna put her last name out there, but yes, Diane didn't know shit. So for like a month, we were talking about stuff she just could not understand. But then when I switched my therapist and I got with Miss Evelyn helped me more than I could ever help myself.
I love it.
So therapy is key to when it comes to when you really think you're ready for a relationship. Go talk to someone first. Do it for like couple sessions, like two or three. Really break yourself down to build yourself back up. Because the moment you do that, you can love a really good woman who will adore you, who will appreciate you in every matters which ways. But you got to do it for yourself first.
Ooh, I love that. Ooh, you said a mouthful. That's coming from a black man, y'all. Okay, Shakita says, hurt people, and until you address those wounds, you'll continue to bleed on folks that didn't cut you. Ooh,
Mhm.
amen.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God. In so many different ways. I mean, that's even outside of relationships, just in your entire life. You really have to, if you know you need it, go get therapy. Well, I really appreciate you for being an advocate for that because a lot of people, and I've been preaching this since 2019. People are afraid because they're afraid of what people may think, but you have to take care of you first. I mean, why
So
are you
what?
walking around depressed because you're worried about what other people think?
So what? You should not care about what people think because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to look yourself in the eye. You're the one who has to get up and say, am I good enough for me? Not somebody else. You have to say for me first because you're the one who goes through your own life, not anybody else.
Now, Charles says, shout out to Charles. Thanks for tuning in, my guy. Make sure you like, comment, and share, guys, everybody that's tuned in. So I'm just looking for that woman who will, at the end of the day, will always remember to be my friend. Friendships will make or break your relationship. Ooh, I have to agree. I have to agree wholeheartedly.
I do
A lot
too.
of us, we run right into relationships without the friendship part, right? Because we're just sexually attracted. And then we have to build the friendship part. And sometimes it doesn't make it, right, to the actual
Hmm.
friendship. So that's the reason why I think solidifying that friendship, being able to trust each other, pour into each other, and really love each other as true friends first will make that relationship or marriage like unbreakable because you'll have that unconditional love for each other at that point for the
Yeah,
most.
you will. But then at the end of the day, if you see a girl at the gas station and her ass is popping like the gas in her car, then you're
Yeah,
gonna want to go up and get her number.
of
You're
course.
not gonna really worry about getting her friendship until after she has your baby. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, whatever.
I'm done with you. Not after you have a baby. Baby's too expensive right now. Anyways. But I get what you're saying. We're usually attracted first. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why sometimes these relationships fail. That's the whole topic today is why do relationships fail? A lot of times because we didn't build that solid friendship foundation first. Shaquita
Hmm.
says you should have a solid foundation as friends before moving on to the next level. I agree. I do.
Yeah, and then she's going to be like, "Oh well, I just see you as friends. I don't see you as nothing else." So
Not
there's like,
always.
no, not always, but there's a good and bad to that because I know there's been plenty of situations that we've all been into where we want to get close to someone, but they don't want to step over that line. Even when you try to, you're doing too much, or it's like, oh, it's not going to work out, or anything like that. Like, how are you going to say that to somebody as me being your friend, knowing almost everything about you, and vice versa, and then you want to go off with some other dude that you don't even know? So it's almost like that's not even fair.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's expand on it for a few more minutes and then we'll have to wrap everything up because time is just going by like this. Here's the thing. There's some of us that put you guys in the friend zones for very good reasons. Number one, it could be because we really seriously are not attracted to you in that way. Number two, it could be that we really truly see you as a brother figure, someone that we look up to and confide in. Or number three, we just on some bull crap. Like, there's no other way to put it. Shaquita says, no, nah, chill. LOL. She said, chill, Will. She said, all females aren't like that. And she's right.
Okay.
Some
Yeah.
females,
Okay.
for real, some females see the value in the friendship that they're building. It really just depends on what that woman's intention was when you first met her. If we know right away whether or not we're feeling you like that. We know whether or not we're gonna sleep with you. We know whether or not we're gonna take it to the next level. If we know out the gate that we're not gonna take it to the next level, and we know that's what you want, then we should vocalize that so that way we're not leading you on. And I know a lot of us do lead on guys that we have no intentions on building anything with. I'll be
Hmm.
honest. I know that. I know that for a fact. I've
Hmm.
done it probably, I'm sure, more than once. Shaquita says, I rarely get to know my partner opposed to jumping into something with a person I really don't know.
And I understand that. But it's you should tell someone in the beginning. Don't just we start talking, we be friendly, and then nothing is ever talked about. Nothing to where, well, is this going to be more than friendship or is just going to be right here? Something needs to be said, but it don't because nobody likes to communicate. So
Ah, hey, you ain't lying about that. Let me go on to the next comment here. Communication is key, so she should let you know up front what her intentions are, opposed to lead you on. I agree, but Shaquita,
mhm.
you know, there's so many of us that we leave guys on. It could be this one guy takes me out to eat. It could be this other guy buys me shoes, and this other guy takes me on trips.
You choose. Okay, okay.
I'm just saying,
I'm
it's funny,
just
it's laughable, but it's true. Okay, there's other guys investing in my business. Ladies, I'm just saying, am I lying? Because I know I'm not. Okay, Charles says being friend zone at times is a blessing. It has saved some people a great deal of heartache. Oh yeah.
uh-huh. Yep. Yep. And that's why you just move on to her sister. So
Ooh, burn. Ah, you're one of the petty ones. I see.
I'm not petty.
The
I'm
Queenie
just
says, "No, yes, you are. You're right, sis. LOL. But it all comes with growth, I guess. No, she's right. So there's a lot of women. You know, like I said, I used to probably do this. I did do the same thing in my 20s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But anyway, and I'm sorry. Shout out to all the people I did that too. I apologize in advance. Anyways, but I feel like this. You do have to grow and you do have to mature in order to respect other people and their feelings too. It can't just be about you. And I think a lot of us we get off on this. I want things my way. If it can't be my way, then I don't want to be with this person. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way their breath smells and ill. I don't like, it's just like we pick apart the things we don't like about a person just for us not to be with that person. And it could be the
mhm.
exact person we need to be with. Happens all the time. Happens all the time.
I mean, I once broke up with a girl because her feet smell bad because she never wears socks. So yeah,
Ah,
just say it happened.
woo. What was her first name?
What?
What was her first name? You don't want to tell me?
It was like Ashley or Angel. It was like some white name, but she was black. So
Oh, Ashley, I hope you got that. It's probably like feet fungus or something under control. Anyway, Shaquita says, I definitely have benefited from that in the past, but as I got older, I had to respect myself more and learn how to communicate. Exactly.
yes.
There's overly grown women doing that too, though. Like it's
Hmm.
not just the young ladies.
Yeah, it's not, but at least you acknowledge it and you are working on it. You have some that have acknowledged it and don't want to do it, don't
Oh
want to
yeah.
change because they seems like, oh, I'm not the problem. They are, but if it keeps happening over and over again, it's almost like the definition of insanity, trying to think of different results when it's not going to happen.
Wow, facts. Well, man, I hate to cut this conversation short because we over here keeping it real as always on the Sisters Talk podcast, and I want to thank everybody who's commented, who's tuned in, who beeped in, beeped out. Make sure you like, comment, and share. This last comment I'm going to read, guys. Charles Arnold says accountability is a major reason relationships aren't working, and I definitely have to
Hmm.
say
They
I
are.
100% agree with that.
Yep, you gotta be accountable for your actions, whether you did it or not. Still, you took the idea and put it in the thought, put it in action. So yeah, you gotta be accountable.
Yep. And with that being said, special guest Will the Fresh. What are your final words? Like, what do you have to say about this for this part two of why do relationships fail?
I'm just going to bite off from Charles accountability. When it comes down to it, you just have to be able to be accountable. And then be a fucking adult. Like really, we are not kids. We need to stop acting like we're still playing these high school games when it don't work. If you're in your late 20s into your 30s, hell in your 40s, like you don't need to be playing those games. You either want to be with that person or not. Plain and simple, cut and dry. Just do what you do that's going to make you happy, but don't make someone unhappy because you're unsure of your own intentions.
Couldn't have said that any better, man. I thank you so much for gracing the stage. We're gonna keep doing this. I think we have like 5 segments to this, so I can't wait till
Yeah.
we pull it all together because this is real, brutal, honest truth about why relationships fail. Thank you guys for chiming in, and guys, don't go anywhere. Will, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna put you backstage. Guys, I just want to thank you guys for always supporting me. I have a lot going on, super excited about things to come. Shout out to all my people who have reached out to me to do other business ventures, like as if I don't have enough going on already. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this out with my movie trailer to Nella. I have another movie that's coming up here soon. I'm gonna try to get it done and released by October this year, but fingers crossed that'll happen. If it doesn't, we'll have to push it off, and that's okay too. Guys, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a blessed night.